They told you that your surroundings define the limits of your success, that the walls around you, the streets you walk, and the faces you see every day are the true measure of what you can achieve. And what if I tell you from the very first heartbeat of your imagination that none of it is set in stone, that the air itself bends to the contours of your inner world? And as you close your eyes tonight, you may already begin to feel the pulse of possibilities humming beneath the surface of your awareness, a subtle current that whispers of wealth, power, and freedom not yet earned, but entirely within reach. Because somewhere beyond the noise of doubt, beyond the weight of circumstance, lies a room that belongs to no one but you, where the walls are nothing more than the reflections of your desire, and the floor is paved with the footsteps of every victory you have yet to claim. And as the shadows of your fears lengthen across the landscape of reality, you realize that they are powerless here, that this inner sanctuary bends reality like sunlight through a prism, fracturing impossibility into shards you can hold in your mind. And in this space, every thought becomes a seed, every feeling a law of physics, and every vision an architect of destiny. And as you sit in silence, the room begins to fill with the aroma of your imagined success, rich and intoxicating, like a banquet awaiting you beyond time. And you notice a mirror on the far wall, reflecting not your face but the version of yourself who has already walked through doors you have only dreamed of. And suddenly the air shifts, thick with potential, as if the universe itself leans closer, curious about what you will choose to create. And you understand that the world outside has no power here, that the outer environment is but a stage, and the real drama unfolds inside, in the quiet, limitless theater of your inner room. And with a breath that tastes of both fear and exhilaration, you step deeper into that space, feeling the thrill of a reality yet to be written. And as the edges of the room shimmer with unseen light, you know that this is the first page of a story that will not be dictated by streets, walls, or names, but by the boundless architecture of your own mind. And yet, even as the room settles around you, a door appears where none existed before, and beyond it, the faint echo of possibilities calls, inviting you forward. Can you imagine stepping through a doorway that exists only in your mind, where the air is thick with the scent of ambition, and every shadow seems to pulse with untold stories? And as you move forward, the walls around you ripple like liquid, reflecting not the world you know, but the life you are beginning to design. And with every step, the floor beneath your feet hums with the energy of countless possibilities converging in perfect rhythm, while faint whispers of encouragement brush against your ears, voices you do not recognize but somehow feel intimately familiar. And in the distance, a faint light glimmers, not harsh or blinding, but warm and inviting, guiding your path through corridors that twist and turn like the labyrinth of your own imagination. And as you follow, the scenes shift seamlessly, presenting you with visions of wealth, comfort, and influence, each one more vivid and detailed than the last, yet none belonging to the reality outside, because this space bends to your intention, and the emotions you carry here are the architects of every unfolding tableau, and the air itself seems to pulse with possibility, vibrating in harmony with your growing certainty. And in that moment, the doubts that once clung to your mind like cobwebs begin to dissolve, scattering into the corners where they can no longer reach you. And a sense of exhilaration rises, intertwining with the calm clarity of purpose, and you realize that in this inner world, every limitation you once believed in has been stripped away, leaving only the raw potential of what you can become. And yet, just as your confidence swells, the floor tilts slightly, reminding you that balance is essential, that mastery of this realm requires both imagination and focus. And as the light ahead pulses stronger, beckoning you onward, you sense that this journey is far from linear, and every choice here will ripple outward, shaping not just this room but the fabric of the life that awaits beyond its invisible walls. And as your hand hovers over the next threshold, a new awareness settles in. The environment outside may be unchanged, but within, you are already transforming, and the adventure has only just begun, because what lies beyond this next door will challenge every expectation you've ever held. Picture for a moment a space where time bends like molten glass, stretching and compressing with every heartbeat, And as you step across the threshold, the room expands infinitely, yet remains intimate, wrapping around you like a living entity that knows your every desire. And the walls, once solid, now shimmer with faint constellations of possibility, each star a memory of triumph, a promise of fortune, or a spark of creativity waiting to ignite. And as your gaze drifts upward, the ceiling dissolves into a sky painted with swirling auroras of light, colors you've never seen before but feel deeply drawn to. And with each breath, the air tastes sweeter, charged with the electricity of unseen energies converging in perfect harmony. And you sense that every footstep sends ripples across the fabric of this realm, shaping it subtly yet irrevocably. And somewhere in the distance, a melody drifts, haunting yet beautiful, composed of the harmonics of intention and belief. And as you follow its cadence, the ground beneath your feet shifts to mirror your emotions, rising and falling with the rhythm of hope, courage, and daring. And with every step, you encounter reflections of yourself. Versions who have mastered fears, embraced abundance, and walked paths you've only dreamed of. And though none speak aloud, their presence radiates lessons learned and victories won. And as the melody crescendos, a doorway materializes, framed not in wood or stone but in pure, radiant thought, and it hums softly, a resonance that calls forth the deepest yearnings of your heart. And in that moment, clarity surges, and you realize the environment outside, with all its noise and limitation, cannot touch you here, cannot dictate the scale of your ambition. And yet, the journey ahead feels alive, almost sentient, and as you reach toward the luminous door, anticipation coils around your chest like a living thing. And you understand that crossing it will not merely reveal new visions, it will demand that you embody them fully. Because the inner room, as magnificent as it already is, holds even greater realms just beyond this threshold. And stepping forward is the only way to discover how far your imagination can truly take you. Now consider this. As your hand brushes the glowing doorway, a subtle warmth spreads through your fingers, seeping into your very bones. And the moment you step through, the world inside transforms again, folding and unfolding like a living manuscript written in the language of your own desires. And the air is alive with possibility, shimmering with colors that hum against your skin, as if the universe itself is taking note of your choices. And the floor beneath you becomes a river of soft, liquid light, carrying visions of prosperity, influence, and freedom, in gentle currents that brush your ankles, and every sound, from the faintest whisper to the echo of imagined triumphs, seems orchestrated to embolden your conviction. And in the distance, shapes begin to materialize. Palaces of thought, gardens of opportunity, and streets paved with lessons learned in worlds both imagined and yet to be lived. And each one beckons, not with demand, but with the quiet invitation of inevitability. And as you navigate through these shifting landscapes, you notice reflections of people who once doubted you, now frozen in moments of awe. Not because of the outer reality, but because of the indomitable force you are cultivating within. And the walls themselves seem to breathe, expanding when your hope swells and contracting when hesitation creeps in, reminding you that this realm is alive to your state of mind. And somewhere above, constellations pulse rhythmically, each beat synchronizing with the pulse of your deepest intentions. And with each step, the river of light grows brighter, as if celebrating your courage, and the melodies of unseen realms weave through your consciousness, hinting at doors that open only when belief is absolute. And yet, even as the splendor surrounds you, a shadow of doubt flickers in the corner of your awareness, testing the resilience of your vision. And as you confront it, you feel a surge of clarity, knowing that this challenge is only a gateway, a necessary trial that proves your mastery of imagination. And as the shadows dissolve into brilliance, a new path unfurls ahead, shimmering with untapped potential, and with a breath that tastes of anticipation and resolve, you move forward, knowing that the inner world you are commanding is beginning to shape the life that waits silently outside, poised to bend to the will of your unshakable vision. Can you feel it? The way the air thickens with possibility as you step onto the next stretch of this luminous path, where every surface seems to ripple with your intentions, and the very ground beneath your feet pulses in time with your heartbeat, reminding you that creation is not a distant act but a constant, living dialogue between thought and reality. And as you walk, the walls around you shift into scenes of unimaginable abundance, each one more intricate than the last, filled with textures, scents, and sounds that make your imagination ache with the thrill of authenticity. And in the distance, a river of liquid gold winds through a valley of opportunity, reflecting the sky of your own design, while distant towers rise like silent guardians of dreams fulfilled, and every shadow along the path seems to whisper secrets of past limitations, now powerless, melting into the radiant light of your inner mastery. And as you pause to breathe in this world, you realize the subtle power of focus, that the tiniest thought here can ripple outward into a symphony of outcomes, and a gentle wind carries echoes of victories yet to be claimed, brushing against your skin like the touch of encouragement. And somewhere just beyond sight, doors flicker open and closed, each one promising experiences shaped solely by intention. And the melodies of this realm swell, harmonizing with the energy flowing through you, filling every corner of your being with a sense of purpose and daring. And with each step, you sense that the inner room is not static, but responsive, alive to the nuances of your belief. And as the river of gold bends toward a horizon that seems both near and impossibly distant, you understand that wealth, influence, and freedom are not granted by circumstance, but harvested from this wellspring of inner vision. And yet, even amidst the brilliance, a subtle tension coils at the edges of your awareness, a reminder that mastery is earned through persistence, patience, and the courage to move forward despite uncertainty. And as the light ahead pulses invitingly, you feel a deep, resonant certainty that each step taken here reverberates through the fabric of your outer world, shaping opportunities and outcomes that until now seemed unreachable. And as the path opens into a vast chamber of potential, you know that the journey has only just begun, because the inner room continues to expand, revealing dimensions of creation beyond anything you have imagined. And every breath you draw fills this space with the energy of inevitability. And with a surge of exhilaration, you step forward, ready to explore the next revelation waiting in the heart of your own imagination. Now consider this. The chamber ahead stretches wider than your mind can fully grasp, its ceilings dissolving into currents of light that twist and shimmer like liquid fire. And as you step forward, the air vibrates with a symphony of possibility, each note resonating with the intentions you have dared to cultivate. And along the walls, visions unfold of wealth, influence, and freedom, not as distant dreams, but as lived realities already woven into the tapestry of your inner world. And every detail is sharp, tactile, and suffused with emotion, from the texture of a golden desk under your fingertips to the scent of success that drifts through the air like invisible perfume. And a river of light flows beside you, carrying reflections of choices yet to be made, rippling with the consequences of courage and the rewards of unwavering belief. And as you move, shadows of doubt try to follow, but each one evaporates at your approach, powerless in the radiance of your focus. And somewhere above, constellations pulse in rhythm with your heartbeat, aligning possibilities that were once scattered into coherent, navigable paths. And in the distance, a bridge forms, connecting islands of opportunity that hover just beyond reach, glimmering like promises whispered by the universe itself. And as you step onto it, the planks respond to your resolve, solidifying under the weight of intention. And a wind rises, carrying echoes of victories yet claimed, wrapping around you like a cloak of inevitability. And every footfall sends ripples through this luminous expanse, shaping the unfolding landscape according to the purity of your vision. And yet, even in this brilliance, a subtle tension hums at the edge of perception, a reminder that creation demands clarity and commitment. And as the bridge bends gracefully toward the horizon, a luminous doorway appears, not fixed but shifting, inviting, daring you to step into dimensions of possibility beyond even your boldest imaginings. And the air tingles with anticipation, thick with the electricity of manifestation, and you feel the pulse of your own power amplifying with every beat of your heart. And as you reach for that threshold, the realization strikes. The outer world may remain the same, but here, in this boundless inner room, you are already sculpting the life you were destined to inhabit. And the journey forward promises revelations that will challenge, transform, and ultimately define the reality you will one day walk in fully awake. Can you imagine standing at the edge of a vast expanse where every thought you've ever dared to dream floats like a constellation, and as you inhale, the air vibrates with the energy of creation itself, wrapping around your senses with a warmth that feels both exhilarating and intimate. And each step forward carries the weightless thrill of possibility, as if gravity itself bends to the intentions you hold. And along the horizon, towers of opportunity rise, crafted not from brick or stone, but from the very substance of belief, shimmering with the promise of ventures, relationships, and fortunes yet to be claimed. And the ground beneath your feet pulses with the echoes of countless successes, each one a testament to the power of unwavering imagination, and distant melodies, subtle but unmistakable, weave through the atmosphere, harmonizing with your heartbeat and guiding you toward choices that feel predestined yet earned. And as you move, you notice reflections of yourself along the river of light, versions who dared boldly, acted decisively, and embodied the wealth and freedom you now sense as tangible. And though none speak, their presence communicates a language older than words, affirming that the inner room responds to clarity, courage, and commitment. And somewhere above, constellations shift gently, mapping the trajectories of opportunities and the paths of inspiration. And shadows of doubt occasionally flicker along the edges of perception, testing your resolve. But each one dissolves under the radiance of focus and intention. And as the river widens, pooling into a luminous lake, the water mirrors your deepest desires, vibrating with the certainty of their eventual manifestation. And with every ripple, you sense that the energy here is sentient, aware, responding to the purity of your vision. And as a bridge of light stretches across the shimmering surface, inviting passage to realms even more extraordinary, you feel a surge of exhilaration and reverence intertwined, and it becomes clear that this journey is not a trial of endurance, but a dance with possibility. And as you step onto the bridge, the vibrations of your own belief echo outward, shaping not only this inner world, but the circumstances that await you beyond its luminous borders. And with the horizon glowing ever brighter, the adventure unfolds, promising that the life you have imagined is no longer a distant hope but a reality being sculpted in real time, ready to bloom. As you continue to move forward, picture for a moment a chamber where every surface seems to breathe, exhaling the fragrance of unseen victories and inhaling the essence of intentions yet to be realized. And as you walk, the floor beneath your feet ripples like liquid glass, reflecting visions of abundance that shimmer and shift with every heartbeat, while the walls stretch and curve, revealing hidden alcoves filled with lessons you once ignored but now see as stepping stones. And the air carries a gentle hum, as though the universe itself whispers encouragement, urging you to move boldly into realms that exist only because you have imagined them. And in the distance, light fractures into a spectrum of possibilities, each hue resonating with a different facet of your potential. And shadows from the outer world try to creep in, but they dissolve instantly, powerless against the brilliance of focus and clarity. And as you venture further, bridges of thought emerge, connecting floating islands of ideas and ventures that promise both challenge and reward. And beneath you, the river of illumination flows, carrying fragments of intuition, memories of triumph, and the subtle guidance of inspiration. And along its banks, reflections of yourself appear, not as you are, but as the version who has mastered doubt, fear, and hesitation, radiating confidence and poise. And with each glance, a spark ignites within, reinforcing the understanding that your environment has never dictated your power, only your imagination can. And above, constellations twist and reform, illustrating paths of opportunity that shift in response to the purity of your intent. And the melodies of this realm weave together, forming an intricate symphony that vibrates in perfect resonance with your inner vision. And a doorway glimmers ahead, framed in energy rather than wood, inviting you to step through into landscapes even more wondrous. And as you approach, anticipation coils in your chest like a living thing, and the realization settles in that this inner room, boundless and alive, has already begun to sculpt the outer world, bending circumstance and chance to the rhythm of your imagination. And with a breath that tastes of both courage and exhilaration, you cross the threshold, ready to encounter the next revelation of your own limitless potential. Now consider this. As you step through the radiant doorway, the air thickens with possibility, vibrating with a resonance that seems to echo the deepest desires you've ever dared to entertain. And the space stretches endlessly in all directions, yet somehow feels intimately attuned to your presence, as if it has been waiting for you all along. And the floor beneath your feet glimmers like liquid silver, reflecting visions of achievements, luxuries, and triumphs that feel astonishingly real. While above, ribbons of light twist and spiral, connecting points of inspiration like neural pathways made visible. And along the horizon, towers and bridges of imagination rise, constructed not from tangible matter, but from thought, belief, and unwavering intention. And distant melodies hum through the air, harmonizing with your heartbeat and guiding you toward choices that feel both predestined and profoundly earned. And every step sends ripples through this boundless expanse, shaping landscapes and possibilities in response to the clarity of your vision. And reflections of yourself appear intermittently, each one a version who has already walked the path you are on, radiating confidence, wisdom, and a quiet mastery that inspires reverence. And shadows of doubt flicker briefly along the edges, testing resolve, yet vanish instantly under the radiance of focus and unwavering belief. And the river of light that winds through the expanse carries whispers of opportunity, lessons learned, and seeds of prosperity that seem to pulse with life. And as you follow it, the currents guide you toward vistas of unimaginable scale, yet intimate in their invitation to engage. And above, constellations shift and reform like living maps, illustrating the consequences of choice and the pathways of success. And bridges of pure thought connect floating islands of innovation, each one a challenge, an adventure, and a promise rolled into a single shimmering construct. And the air hums with energy, thick with the certainty of manifestation. And in the distance, a luminous doorway appears, framed in shifting currents of potential, calling you forward with a pull that is irresistible. And in that moment, exhilaration surges, the thrill of creation entwined with the awe of boundless possibility. And as you reach toward it, the understanding crystallizes. The outer world is only a reflection of what has already been forged here, in this inner room alive with thought, desire, and the relentless momentum of imagination. Can you imagine a space where every breath you take carries the weight and promise of unclaimed victories? And as you step forward, the walls around you ripple with the echoes of ambition, bending and shifting in response to the intensity of your focus, while the floor beneath your feet glows softly, tracing the contours of possibilities that exist only because you have imagined them. And above, currents of light twist and spiral like living rivers, each strand carrying visions of wealth, influence, and freedom that shimmer with tactile clarity. And distant melodies rise and fall in perfect harmony with your heartbeat, guiding you toward choices that feel both inevitable and electrifying. And along the horizon, islands of opportunity hover, suspended in midair, each one pulsing with the energy of action, courage, and reward. And the reflections of yourself appear intermittently, showing not who you are, but who you are becoming, radiating poise, confidence, and mastery over doubt, while shadows of fear attempt to creep along the edges of perception, only to dissolve instantly under the brilliance of unwavering focus. And the river of illumination that winds through the landscape carries whispers of lessons learned, promises kept, and triumphs yet to be realized. And as you follow it, bridges of thought stretch between floating realms of invention, ambition, and daring, guiding you toward experiences that will challenge, transform, and elevate you. And the constellations above shift gently, mapping pathways of opportunity and consequence, illustrating how every decision resonates across dimensions both seen and unseen. And a luminous doorway appears ahead, formed not from wood or stone but from pure potential, beckoning with the magnetic pull of what is possible. And as you approach, exhilaration surges in your chest, the thrill of creation intertwined with the awe of infinite potential. And you understand in the depths of your being that this inner room is alive, responsive, and infinitely generous. And as you step through the threshold, anticipation coils like a living thing around your heart, promising revelations that will not just change your perception, but reshape the reality that awaits beyond, because the world outside is nothing compared to the power you now wield within. Picture for a moment a realm where the very air seems to hum with possibility, thick with the invisible threads of intention that ripple outward with every heartbeat. And as you move forward, the ground beneath your feet shifts subtly, forming patterns that echo the rhythm of your desires, while the walls around you stretch and curve, revealing hidden chambers filled with lessons you have yet to learn but will soon master. And distant lights flicker, illuminating towers and bridges of thought constructed from the pure substance of belief. And each step you take resonates through this expansive inner landscape, shaping opportunities and outcomes in ways that feel both predestined and entirely of your own making. And the reflections of yourself appear intermittently. Versions who have walked paths of courage, risk, and brilliance, their presence radiating confidence that bolsters your own, and shadows of doubt attempt to intrude but dissolve instantly in the glow of your focus, powerless against the clarity you wield, and rivers of liquid light flow alongside you, carrying whispers of wisdom, intuition, and inspiration that guide you toward vistas of unimaginable possibility, and bridges of thought stretch across chasms of uncertainty, connecting islands of creativity, ambition, and daring, each one a challenge that promises growth, reward, and the thrill of achievement. And constellations above shift in response to your intention, mapping trajectories of opportunity and consequence, illustrating that every choice echoes across dimensions both visible and unseen. And the melodies of this realm weave together in a symphony that resonates with the deepest chambers of your heart, affirming that wealth, freedom, and influence are not dictated by external circumstance but born from the power of imagination fully realized. And ahead, a doorway glimmers with radiant light, shifting and alive, calling you forward with irresistible energy. And as you reach for it, exhilaration surges through you, the anticipation of creation entwined with the awe of boundless potential. And you understand, profoundly, that stepping through will not just reveal new possibilities, but demand that you embody them fully. Because the inner room, infinite and alive, continues to expand with every thought, desire, and decision you make, shaping the reality that waits silently outside. Can you imagine standing at the threshold of a doorway that seems to pulse with its own heartbeat? And as you step through, the world inside bends and shifts, stretching wide into vistas of color, sound, and motion that respond directly to the clarity of your intent. While the floor beneath you glimmers like molten silver, reflecting visions of prosperity, influence, and freedom that feel astonishingly real. And the walls ripple like liquid, revealing hidden passages and secret alcoves filled with the lessons and triumphs of selves you have yet to become. And above, constellations twist and spiral in perfect harmony with your desires, forming maps of opportunity and paths of destiny that respond to the purity of your belief. And every step sends ripples through the very fabric of this inner realm, shaping bridges between islands of ambition, creativity, and daring that hover like suspended possibilities. While reflections of yourself appear intermittently, showing the version who has mastered fear, doubt, and hesitation, radiating confidence and poise that inspires you to move forward. And shadows of limitation attempt to creep along the edges, only to dissolve instantly in the brilliance of focus and unwavering intention. And rivers of light flow beside you, carrying whispers of wisdom, intuition, and the subtle signals of opportunity that you might otherwise miss. And melodies rise and fall in harmony with your heartbeat, guiding your path with an almost sentient precision. And as the landscape unfolds, towers of innovation and palaces of achievement shimmer on the horizon, each one a promise, a challenge, and a call to action. And the air vibrates with the energy of creation, thick with the certainty that every thought here has the power to manifest outside. And as you move toward a luminous bridge that arcs gracefully into the distance, anticipation coils in your chest like a living thing, and you realize that the outer world, with all its limitations and noise, has no dominion here, because the life you are imagining is already alive within. And stepping forward is not just movement, it is the act of commanding reality itself, shaping every circumstance, encounter, and opportunity to align with the vision of your unshakable imagination. Now consider this. As you cross the luminous bridge, the air thickens with energy that tingles against your skin, carrying the subtle fragrance of triumph and the quiet hum of possibility. And the path ahead seems both infinite and intimately tailored to your vision, bending and twisting like a river of thought guided by the pulse of your desires, while the ground beneath your feet shimmers with reflections of victories yet to be claimed. And along the horizon, floating islands of innovation and opportunity hover, suspended by the sheer force of imagination, each one radiating a light that draws you forward with irresistible gravity. And distant melodies rise and fall like waves, harmonizing with your heartbeat and whispering guidance in a language older than words, while the walls of this inner realm ripple and breathe, revealing hidden chambers filled with lessons and insights you have yet to fully grasp. And reflections of yourself appear intermittently, showing versions who dared boldly, acted decisively, and embodied the mastery you are beginning to claim. And shadows of doubt flicker briefly at the edges, only to vanish in the brilliance of unwavering focus. And rivers of liquid light win through valleys of potential, carrying fragments of inspiration, intuition, and wisdom that pulse with life. And bridges of thought stretch across chasms of uncertainty, each one inviting you to take steps of courage that will ripple outward into realms unseen, while constellations above shift and spiral, illustrating paths of opportunity and consequence, mapping the trajectories of success shaped entirely by your inner world. And the air hums with the resonance of manifestation, thick with the certainty that every deliberate thought here is a seed of creation in the world beyond. And a luminous doorway appears in the distance, framed in energy and intention, beckoning you onward with a pull that feels both inevitable and exhilarating. And as you approach, the thrill of creation coils in your chest like a living thing, and the realization settles deep within. This inner room, alive, responsive, and infinite, is already sculpting the life that waits silently outside, ready to bend circumstance, opportunity, and chance to the rhythm of your imagination. Can you feel it? The subtle vibration in the air as you step closer to the luminous doorway, thick with the hum of creation, and the space around you expands like a living canvas, stretching in every direction to accommodate the visions you hold most dear, while the floor beneath your feet glows with patterns of possibility, tracing the contours of wealth, influence, and freedom that have already begun to take form within your mind. And along the horizon, towers of ambition rise like silent sentinels, their surfaces shimmering with the light of opportunity. And rivers of liquid brilliance win through valleys of potential, carrying whispers of guidance, intuition, and lessons drawn from futures yet to be realized. And reflections of yourself appear at intervals, not as you are, but as the versions who have mastered fear, hesitation, and doubt, radiating the confidence and poise of those who walk fully in alignment with their vision. And shadows of limitation try to intrude but dissolve instantly under the radiance of unwavering focus, powerless against the force of your inner conviction. And melodies drift through the air, harmonizing with your heartbeat and guiding your steps with an almost sentient precision, while bridges of thought arc gracefully across chasms of uncertainty, inviting bold action and daring decisions that ripple outward into realms yet unseen. And the walls of this inner world breathe with life, expanding when your hope swells and contracting when attention falters, illustrating that the landscape of your reality is entirely responsive to your state of mind. And above, constellations shift, mapping trajectories of opportunity and consequence, a celestial guide that bends to the intentions you hold most sacred. And, as the doorway pulses with radiant energy, anticipation coils in your chest like a living thing. And the thrill of creation intertwines with the quiet certainty that every step taken here shapes the life waiting silently outside. And with a breath that tastes of both courage and exhilaration, you move forward, knowing that the inner room is not merely a space of imagination, but a crucible in which your reality is being forged, alive, infinite, and entirely yours to command. Picture for a moment a vast expanse where every surface shimmers with possibility. And as you step forward, the floor beneath your feet ripples like liquid light, carrying visions of triumph and abundance that feel astonishingly tangible, while the walls bend and breathe, revealing hidden chambers filled with insights, lessons, and echoes of victories you have yet to claim. And the air hums with energy, thick with the resonance of creation itself, as distant melodies rise and fall, guiding your heart and mind toward choices that feel both inevitable and profoundly earned. And along the horizon, bridges of thought stretch across floating islands of innovation, ambition, and daring, each one pulsing with the promise of reward and growth. And reflections of yourself appear intermittently, showing versions who have mastered fear, hesitation, and limitation, radiating confidence and poise that bolster your own, while shadows of doubt flicker briefly at the edges of perception, only to dissolve instantly in the brilliance of unwavering focus, and rivers of liquid brilliance wind through valleys of potential, carrying whispers of guidance, inspiration, and intuition that pulse with life. And constellations above twist and spiral, mapping paths of opportunity and consequence that respond directly to the clarity of your intention. And the melodies of this realm weave together into a symphony that resonates with every chamber of your heart, affirming that wealth, freedom, and influence are born from imagination fully realized. And as the luminous doorway ahead pulses with radiant energy, anticipation coils in your chest like a living thing, and exhilaration surges through you as the thrill of creation entwines with the awe of infinite potential. And the inner room, infinite, alive, and responsive, reminds you that every deliberate thought here is a seed of manifestation outside. And as you reach for the doorway, a quiet certainty settles deep within. The life you have imagined is already taking form, waiting for you to step fully into it. Because the power to shape reality has never depended on the world around you, but on the boundless architecture of your own mind. Now consider this. As you step closer to the doorway, the air thickens with anticipation, almost tangible, humming with the quiet insistence of possibility. And the space around you stretches and bends, responding to the strength of your focus, while the floor beneath your feet shimmers like liquid light, reflecting visions of success, freedom, and mastery that feel astonishingly real. And along the horizon, towers of imagination rise, each one alive with potential, while rivers of radiant energy wind through valleys of inspiration, carrying whispers of guidance, intuition, and lessons yet to be fully understood. And reflections of yourself appear at intervals, showing versions who have already walked paths of courage, action, and abundance, radiating poise and mastery that invigorates your own resolve. And shadows of doubt flicker briefly at the edges of perception, only to dissolve instantly in the brilliance of unwavering focus, powerless against the clarity of intention. And bridges of thought span chasms of uncertainty, inviting bold steps and courageous choices that ripple outward across the landscape of this inner world, while the constellations above shift and spiral in response to the purity of your belief, mapping trajectories of opportunity and consequence with precision. And melodies drift through the air, weaving a symphony that resonates with the deepest chambers of your heart, affirming that wealth, influence, and freedom are born from imagination fully embodied. And the walls breathe and shimmer, expanding with hope and contracting with hesitation, illustrating that this realm is alive to the state of your mind. And the doorway pulses with radiant energy, calling you forward with irresistible force, while a subtle thrill coils in your chest like a living thing. And the river of illumination beside you hums with life, carrying fragments of victories yet to be claimed. And the inner room whispers a truth that resonates through your entire being. The outer world is but a reflection of the reality you are crafting here, in the infinite, boundless sanctuary of your imagination. And with a breath that tastes of exhilaration and resolve, you step forward, ready to meet the next revelation waiting beyond the threshold. Can you imagine a corridor that stretches endlessly, its walls alive with shifting colors and textures that respond to the energy of your intentions? And as you move forward, the floor beneath your feet pulses with light, reflecting visions of triumph, abundance, and mastery that feel astonishingly real, while rivers of radiant energy wind through valleys of possibility, carrying whispers of guidance, insight, and intuition that pulse with life. And bridges of thought arc gracefully across chasms of uncertainty, inviting courageous steps that ripple outward, shaping the inner world with every deliberate action. and reflections of yourself appear intermittently, showing versions who have already embodied fearlessness, confidence, and poise, radiating an energy that strengthens your own resolve. And shadows of doubt flicker briefly at the edges of perception, only to dissolve instantly in the brilliance of unwavering focus, powerless against the clarity of intention. And melodies drift through the air, harmonizing with your heartbeat, guiding you toward choices that feel both inevitable and exhilarating, while constellations above shift and spiral, illustrating paths of opportunity, consequence, and creative mastery that respond directly to the purity of your vision. And the walls breathe and ripple with life, expanding with hope and contracting with hesitation, reminding you that the inner room is alive, infinitely responsive, and entirely attuned to the state of your mind. And the river of light beside you carries reflections of victories yet to be claimed, blending past lessons with future possibilities. And in the distance, a luminous doorway appears, shifting and alive, framed not in wood or stone, but in pure intention, pulsing with a magnetic force that calls you forward. And anticipation coils in your chest like a living thing, intertwining exhilaration with awe. And the realization settles deep within that stepping through this threshold will not just reveal new possibilities, but demand that you embody them fully. Because the inner room, infinite, alive, and responsive, continues to sculpt the life that awaits silently outside, bending circumstance, opportunity, and chance to the rhythm of your imagination. And with a deep breath of courage and resolve, you move forward, ready to meet the next unfolding revelation. Picture for a moment a space where every surface shimmers with radiant energy, and as you step forward, the floor beneath your feet glows like liquid light, reflecting visions of abundance, influence, and mastery that feel astonishingly tangible, while the walls ripple and breathe, revealing hidden alcoves filled with lessons, insights, and victories you have yet to claim. And rivers of luminous energy wind through valleys of possibility, carrying whispers of intuition, guidance, and inspiration that pulse with life, and bridges of thought stretch across chasms of uncertainty, inviting bold steps and daring choices that ripple outward across the inner realm, while reflections of yourself appear intermittently, showing versions who have already embodied courage, clarity, and poise, radiating an energy that strengthens your own resolve. And shadows of doubt flicker briefly at the edges of perception, only to dissolve instantly in the brilliance of unwavering focus, powerless against the force of your inner conviction. And melodies rise and fall in harmony with your heartbeat, guiding your movements with subtle precision, while constellations above twist and spiral, mapping trajectories of opportunity and consequence that respond directly to the purity of your belief. And the walls expand with hope and contract with hesitation, illustrating that this realm is alive to the state of your mind. And the river of illumination beside you hums with life, carrying fragments of victories yet to be realized, blending past lessons with future possibilities. And ahead, a doorway pulses with radiant intention, shifting, alive, and beckoning you forward with a magnetic pull that feels both inevitable and exhilarating. And anticipation coils in your chest like a living thing, intertwining exhilaration with quiet reverence. And the inner room whispers a truth that resonates through your entire being. The outer world is merely a reflection of the reality you are crafting here. And stepping through will not simply reveal new possibilities, but demand that you embody them fully. Because the inner room, infinite, alive, and responsive, continues to shape the life waiting silently outside, bending circumstance, opportunity, and chance to the rhythm of your imagination. And with a breath that tastes of both courage and resolve, you move forward, ready to meet the next revelation. Now consider this. As you step through the pulsing doorway, the air hums with the weight of infinite possibility, thick with energy that seems almost alive, wrapping around your senses and vibrating in perfect harmony with the intentions you hold most dear. And the floor beneath your feet glimmers like molten silver, reflecting visions of triumph, abundance, and mastery that feel astonishingly real, while the walls ripple and curve, revealing hidden chambers filled with insights, lessons, and echoes of victories yet to be claimed. And rivers of radiant light wind through valleys of potential, carrying whispers of guidance, inspiration, and intuition that pulse with life. and bridges of thought stretch across chasms of uncertainty, inviting bold, deliberate steps that ripple outward into the vastness of this inner realm, while reflections of yourself appear intermittently, showing versions who have already embodied courage, clarity, and unshakable focus, radiating confidence and mastery that reinforces your own, and shadows of doubt attempt to intrude at the edges, only to vanish instantly in the brilliance of unwavering intention, and melodies drift through the space, rising and falling in harmony with your heartbeat, guiding you toward choices that feel both inevitable and exhilarating, and constellations above twist and spiral, mapping trajectories of opportunity, consequence, and creative mastery that respond directly to the purity of your belief, while the walls breathe and shimmer, expanding with hope and contracting with hesitation, illustrating that this realm is alive, infinite, and attuned entirely to the state of your mind. And the river of illumination beside you hums with fragments of victories yet to be realized, blending lessons learned with possibilities imagined, and ahead, a luminous doorway pulses, shifting, alive, and calling you forward with irresistible force, and anticipation coils in your chest like a living thing, intertwining exhilaration with reverent awe, and the inner room whispers with certainty. The outer world is only a reflection of what has already been forged here, in this boundless sanctuary of imagination, and stepping forward will demand that you embody your highest vision, because the life you have imagined is already taking form, waiting for you to claim it fully. Picture for a moment, the moment when everything converges, the rivers of light, the bridges of thought, the constellations above, and the reflections of yourself that have guided you this far. And as you step fully through the final doorway, the air shimmers with a brilliance so intense, it feels as if reality itself is leaning in to witness your arrival, and the floor beneath your feet radiates warmth and energy, reflecting a life of triumph, abundance, and mastery that has already begun to crystallize in response to the power of your imagination, while the walls around you dissolve into infinite expanses, revealing possibilities so vast they defy description. And the melodies of creation weave together in a symphony that vibrates through every fiber of your being, resonating with courage, clarity, and unwavering belief. And rivers of radiant energy flow freely, carrying whispers of guidance, intuition, and untapped potential that pulse like a heartbeat synchronized with your own, and shadows of doubt vanish entirely, powerless against the overwhelming light of focus and intention. While reflections of the many versions of yourself, those who dared, acted, and embodied mastery, merge into a singular presence radiating confidence, wisdom, and infinite possibility, and bridges of thought stretch endlessly, connecting every idea, vision, and ambition into a seamless tapestry of creation, and the constellations above twist and spiral, mapping every path of opportunity, consequence, and fulfillment that your mind has imagined. And as the brilliance swells around you, a profound realization settles in. The outer world, with all its limitations and noise, is merely a reflection of the inner reality you have forged, and every circumstance, encounter, and opportunity now bends to the rhythm of your imagination. And the thrill of creation courses through you, mingling with awe and gratitude. And as you stand fully immersed in this boundless inner room, you sense that nothing outside can contain or limit you, because the wealth, freedom, and power you sought were never a matter of environment, but of the infinite architecture of your own mind. And with a deep, steady breath, you step forward, fully aligned with the life you have imagined, knowing that the journey of manifestation continues seamlessly from here, shaping every aspect of your existence with the extraordinary force of a vision made real, complete, and unstoppable.